Oh, when they're being a jerk, I can take the mouth can open enough. When someone starts licking my drill or licking my finger or they're bringing their tongue into like a war zone, yeah, no, that pissed me off. You got control. Move it away.
I'm sorry. Did you say that there are patients of yours who are licking your finger? As your husband, I am going to want further explanation of that because none of
you don't want to know none of our things that I've seen.
None of our patients lick my fingers ever.
I regret to inform you that it is a true story.
The mediocre dentist, the mediocre dentist. 'Cause sometimes you just feel mediocre. The mediocre dentist, the mediocre dentist. I am mediocre, you are mediocre, and that's not that bad.
Welcome to another episode of The Mediocre Dentist. I am your host, Dr. David Galler.
And I'm your co-host, Dr. Andrea.
Today's episode is called, Is Anyone Even Happy? Well, let's give some background on this. It is my belief that almost every dentist out there got into dentistry because somebody in their life told them that if they go into dentistry, they'll have a happy life, easy work, balanced life.
Way better than med.
Better than medicine. No
hospital calls.
No hospital.
No death and dying.
No stress. All easy. In my case, it was my dad. God bless him. My dad is a dentist. Love 76-year-old dentist. And he was like, David, dentistry is the way. You don't want to go to medicine. Everyone in medicine is all stressed out, and dentistry is just all shits and giggles.
Oh, yeah. And then all the extra schooling that you need. You're not going to be making money for like a decade
residency,
afterwards.
And then 4 years of fellowship, specialty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just dentist school in, out, and then you making money and you happy and have a life. And I feel like right into if you are out there and this resonates with you, go ahead and send us an email, themediocredentist@gmail.com. Let us know who was it your uncle, your brother-in-law, maybe your neighbor, made it all seem so great.
What bullshit did they give you as a reason why it would be?
Yeah, now here we are 25 years later. I'm looking around. I have colleagues, peers, thousands of students.
Literally thousands, yeah.
Call themselves the Gallerites. And when I speak to them one-on-one or even in group, ain't nobody happy. Nobody is happy.
No, maybe not what they're portraying to everybody else. Not what we're seeing on social media. I don't want to get into that.
Instagram is amazing.
Look at this.
Rainbows
and sunshine.
Look at this amazing case. Look at that amazing case.
But behind closed doors, I assure you, you've had the conversations, I have the conversations. Ain't nobody happy.
Everybody's just a little bit miserable. So with today's episode, we're going to talk about why. Why is everybody in our profession, why are all the dentists a little bit unhappy? I'm going to throw some ideas at you. You tell me what you think.
Sure.
Is it the stress of the patients?
It's not the stress of the patients. I don't know that that's making the top three. I think 1, 2, and 3 right now is just staff issues. The staff unpredictability. That's what I am hearing is like the pulse of dentistry right now.
Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3. My one, I say the stress of patients, that's one.
It is for sure.
Stress of patients. Post-COVID,
yeah.
Everybody mean. Everybody's mean.
Mean, yeah. And
people are upfront mean to other people post-COVID. I think
generally across the board, absolutely.
I think we are an angrier group of Americans and Canadians than we were beforehand. Why? I don't know. I have some hypotheses I'd like to throw by you.
Okay, hit me.
All right, COVID hits, craziest thing ever, probably in our lifetimes. And the government just starts passing rules. 5 feet away. Now they've had these congressional hearings. That was all made up. Nobody had any idea. There's no actual scientific proof for 5 feet.
I don't know if I even want to get you started with the masks, but
5 feet. They just made that up because it sounded like the right number. But if you were online at the bank and you were 3 feet instead of 5 feet, you might get yelled at.
Get kicked right out.
Yeah. They decide everyone has
even
to
though it's the same airspace. Like we won't even get into like
Everyone has to wear
The
masks.
science of
Okay,
it,
that probably was smart. This is an airborne droplet. But all right, after the first like 6 months,
Yeah.
the mask police like got crazy.
It did.
It's not, I mean, you could be anywhere and people are yelling at you that your mask is not on tight enough.
Or not, yeah, just dragging a little bit low. The number of times I saw you get yelled at on a plane.
Oh, the planes were the worst.
I know.
People literally waking me up from my sleep, getting close to me to tell me to pull my mask over my nose, touching me.
Touching like your nose drops.
Touching me with their hands, telling me that I need to raise my mask or what, or the plane could be arrested. The whole plane was arrested. Like they never arrested anybody for not having a mask, and yet we empowered these people in shops and airplanes and airports to yell at other citizens. That empowerment to just yell at somebody, I think it carried over. Now we have patients who come in who wait for more than 11 minutes in the waiting room, and they think it is appropriate to walk over to the receptionist and go, yeah, I've been waiting here for 11 minutes.
And they're totally disgruntled. Well, and they're not just mean. So mean's one part, but rude. No respect for people's time. They were given the excuse. Again, we could dive deep into this, but really, they had an out. I'm sick. I shouldn't come in. Now it's just, I think, translated into, oh, well, I'm not feeling that great. I don't want to, whatever. There's something about the mentality of people. No sense of like courtesy.
Yeah, I could cancel a 2-hour appointment day of. You sit on Facebook for 2 hours.
Yes.
No lost production. I don't even think about it. Yeah, sorry. You know what kills me sometimes? You ever been on a plane and it's late and they're like really late, like 2.5 hours late, and they've screwed over God knows how many people who have missed their connections, who will miss a wedding, miss something, and then just go, we apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
Think about that phrase. We apologize for the inconvenience. We're very sorry. They don't say we're very sorry. Say we apologize for any inconvenience we might have caused. I'm like, you're not even the least bit sorry.
Not at all. Not a job.
Show me that you go home and that you're thinking about it after this flight is over. You're like, wow, we really, it really bothers me how much we messed people over today. Yeah. But okay, people, I think it's stress of patients. People are
double
mean.
Standard. Yeah. We can't get away with that.
People are in the office, the slightest bit of discomfort, and they're up in your. You've had patients who are literally jumping out of the chair when you're working on them.
Me?
Yeah. Isn't the bouncers, people literally shaking legs, moving around. You have to hold them down-ish, kind of. They're moving constantly. You're trying to just get them. You're like, I have a drill here.
Yeah. Calm yourself. Like, do the maths. Yeah.
Right? And that like stresses you out. Like sometimes you come home and like,
gosh.
I've done a 4-hour procedure and the patient was bouncing.
I did. Remember that one? I had a 7-hour dental patient and literally, actually, and it wasn't their fault, restless leg, okay? They're under sedation. They can't stop moving anything. 7 hours, moving around. I'm doing a full arch of dentistry on a moving target. It was the worst 7 hours of my life, even though they didn't mean to be that way. But yeah, this job.
But we're talking about the stress. How about the people who aren't? How about the people who aren't opening wide enough for you?
I mean, that's just that. What can you do though? That's not, again, when it's not on them, I can kind of do. I can keep.
Why is it not on them?
That they can't open their mouth enough?
That they don't. They close it.
Oh, when they're being a jerk, I can take the mouth can't open enough. When someone starts licking my drill or licking my finger or they're bringing their tongue into like a war zone, yeah, no, that pissed me off. You got control. Move it away.
I'm sorry. Did you say that there are patients of yours who are licking your finger? As your husband, I am going to want further explanation of that because none of
you don't want to know
none of our
things that I've seen.
None of our patients lick my fingers ever.
I regret to inform you that it is a true story that I have intentionally, as told by the patient to me post-appointment, that they were intentionally licking my fingers. That's such a bad thing. I never.
Is this a male or female?
Know it was a male.
What the fuck?
I don't know. He's a funny patient.
That's not funny at all to me.
I know. As I'm saying it now, I'm realizing the error. Listen.
What if I came back from the bar and I was like, hey, babe, crazy story. Bartender licked my fingers when she handed me the cup. What would your reaction be?
Not positive. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm not the person going around licking people.
That's like licking your fingers is like first base at dental school.
Listen,
what?
It gets weird. It's a very invasive thing. Maybe he was like nervous, scared, I don't know. I'm just telling you, if you have to ask me whether I'm going to take like a small ability to open one's mouth versus like a wild tongue, the tongue kills me every time. I'm
sorry. I'm still on licking fingers.
Okay.
Was it like a quick little flick, or was he kind of like working it around?
I did have to express my dissatisfaction with the finger licking, and that it must stop if I was going to finish his crown preps.
It was like option.
He was under sedation. So what I did not know is if he was just disinhibited and was going to remember this, or if,
Which finger?
I don't remember the finger.
I do.
It would be my right hand. I'm right-handed dentist, so it was in there. I will never touch you with this hand again.
God.
Okay, can we move on? Okay, what else is stressful about a profession besides this conversation? Ooh.
What about the world of reviews? How has reviews changed our profession? Like back in the day, my dad would put on a crown. Patient would be like, I don't like it. I don't like it. He would change it once. They'd be like, I don't like it. I don't like it. He'd be like, tough shit. See ya.
Yeah.
See ya.
Well, I mean, everything's based on the reviews now too, right? Like whether you're 87 years old or you're 13, you're looking at what Google reviews are. So it's everything.
It is. Listen, people do see the reviews of your office. I read reviews before I go to a bicycle store to buy a bike.
And there's not always anything you can do to even control that. Maybe you weren't even there that day, but the owner's always going to take that responsibility.
We have thought we were going to a hotel in Australia. We read the reviews. We're like, we're not going to that hotel.
Yeah.
Reviews are very powerful.
Absolutely.
And some people feel it is acceptable in society to just take out their frustration on a dentist in their reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, just want to let you know, if you leave a bad review or comment about this podcast, we will hunt you down.
We know where you live.
We will find out where you live. We are unbalanced people.
And if
you haven't figured it out.
Man, I'm just going to hug them till they like us again. I give great hugs.
Maybe just the females,
fine.
not the males. All right, so we got post-COVID, people are just rude in the office.
Absolutely.
We have people not opening up, people bouncing around the chair. Your dentistry quality is going to be judged when you can't say, I'm sorry, that dentistry wasn't as good because the mouth wasn't. You don't get a pass. Your dentistry is expected to be perfect despite how big they open or don't open their mouth. Yes. So that's not fair.
Oh, it's not.
That's stressful.
Absolutely.
Does that make you unhappy?
I don't know that it makes me unhappy. It makes me unhappy when I can't control the variables.
Stress. The stress.
Yeah, absolutely. It stresses me right out.
All right, so that's stress number one.
I think they're all paired together.
So I think hypothesis number one is that people are unhappy because of the stress the patients bring to the practice.
Yes.
All right, now you want to talk about, you say most people's, that's my number one. My number one is the stress of dealing with the patients and the unfairness that they treat us with, and everybody walking around on eggshells for that review.
Yeah.
I think that's stressful. I think living your whole life with other people reviewing you and your actions is stressful.
Yeah, because everyone has a bad day too, right? And you're just not allowed to ever
You're never allowed to have a bad day.
Less than.
Or bad procedure.
Exactly. So it's
and bacteria doesn't grow linear. So bacteria is everywhere. You might not be able to see it. You could do a perfect filling and it could still be sensitive.
The mouth is the most hostile environment that you could possibly work in. And every single material that we use, despite it being the wettest area ever, is hydrophobic. None of it makes sense. It's all crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I don't even change my gloves between patients. So that bacteria is everywhere.
David Gallard.
I'm kidding, Osha. I'm kidding.
Oy, oy, oy.
All right, let's talk about what it's like to be a business owner, have to employ anywhere between 4 to 30 people in this office.
We have friends with more.
We have friends with 40, 50.
Hundreds, yeah.
We only have one friend with 100, but everyone else. Let's say the average dental office, I would say 12.
Fine.
12.
Yeah, fair.
12 human beings that I am responsible for. you are hypothesizing that is the cause of people's stress?
I do. I think that there's a few things because the generational differences are so starkly contrasted. For instance, you've got your millennials versus your Gen Xers or before. You try to coexist when you have people who came from an era where we just all kind of, we worked hard, and you knew if you didn't work hard, you didn't perform well, you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today's, I don't want to even just say woke world, but of feelings and emotions, and people have their like mental health days, and like we used to have to just like suck it up, and if we were having cramps, take Midol, like come into where you don't. It's just different now. And so when you have two different types of people trying to coexist to accomplish similar tasks with maybe different expectations of self and what you're kind of gearing towards, it is incredibly hard. It's hard to find the place, because it's not even like going into the middle, because I think the people that are dealing or coming from a feelings place, they're not able to get to your like cutthroat, we just got to get this done, show up all the time and consistently and put in a hard effort.
So the stress of the staff is that you just feel disconnected from them because of the generational gaps.
I think that's one part.
What generation are you?
Oh, this is so dirty because I'm 81, so I'm like right on the cusp of like millennial and I think Gen X.
You're a millennial Gen X.
I don't identify.
What am I?
I do. You're.
I think
Gen
I'm
X.
depression era.
No, I think you're.
My
Gen
depression
X.
era?
Depression.
When was the depression?
I don't even know.
I think I was in the depression.
No, you're fine.
I feel like I grew up in the depression.
You
My
grew up
parents
in the
didn't give
good.
me anything.
I
think my parents were we were middle class, but they were like, sorry, we can't afford it about everything.
Food
So
stamps.
I identify as depression era. What do you identify as?
I identify as not a millennial.
Okay, what are
first
we
and
in now?
foremost.
People who are working 21 years old.
Are they
Sean, why
Gen
don't we
Z?
put up a graphic of all the generations broken down so all of our listeners will know
Where
what
they-
generation they are. So when
Okay.
we make fun of you, we know
Yeah.
who you are. Okay, so I'm obviously depression era. You are
You're not like a baby. You're not. That's not even an era.
What?
So it's not going to come up.
depression
on
era.
Sean's
You know
list.
why? You know why they don't even call it a depression era?
It's
Because we were
too-
working so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Nobody had time for any of this woke identity bullshit.
Okay.
Nobody
Hey,
cared what
hey.
generation you are. They were like, go out in the field and work. Build me a submarine so we
Okay.
could fight the Nazis.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what was going
That's what
on
was
then.
going on.
All
Okay.
right. So you think it is a function of the boss not being able to relate to the people? I think it's bigger than that. I think it's that nobody was like in high school and like the counselor, guidance counselor, or career guys was like, holy cow, Andrea, you're an amazing leader.
Uh-huh.
I see dentistry in your future. No, like where do the leaders go? Law firms,
Yeah.
CEOs,
Yes.
MBA business. Nobody was ever cast as a leader and then thought you'd make a good
Great
dentist.
dentist.
So here we are. We're all worried about MB2 and canal, and we're all worried about, sensitivity on the pulp horn. Am I using the right pulp cap? Is it dry?
Yes.
And we don't have leadership skills. And we don't. And if you don't have leadership skills, how can you get 12 people
How can you possibly
to
manage?
get them all to manage in the right zone? And if you don't know the love languages of the workplace, if you don't know how to reach people, if you don't know how to communicate, how could you fine tune your skills of communicating when you in the chair all the time? And you're mostly worried about this crown margin. Is this crown open margin? Is it closed? So yeah, that's what I think it is.
I think, and on that, or adding to that, I think it's just the number of caps that we do have to wear. Okay, so like one of it is maybe there wasn't a calling for it. Maybe it's just that we weren't actually ever taught anything about managing people or how to run a business, in addition to knowing how to make a beautiful, like micromillimeter, accuracy margins and whatnot. It is hard to wear that many caps at any one time and master it all. That's
Yeah.
a big,
You could be-
impossible ask.
You could be good
Yeah.
at dentistry
Yes.
and a bad leader.
Absolutely.
And you're miserable. You could have no stress of your dentistry because you know all your dentistry is perfect, but then be totally stressed out because the hygienist won't talk to the assistant, office manager's being mean to everyone, and you have no idea how to corral everybody.
You think where I feel like I learned the most life skills that have helped me out in, I guess, being an adult parent and in my job, playing team sports
Okay.
growing up.
Talk to me about that.
Well, just learning to deal with different personalities. In my case, I think it did help me to some extent in terms of being a leader. I
I would not say I'm gonna hit the
Are you gonna hit bullshit?
Bullshit
Oh.
button.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
Because you did play team sports, and that might have had good parts, but in no world are you considered a good leader in the office. I think they call you the dragon. People don't
think-
call bosses that they like the dragon lady.
Okay, no, that's okay. Guilty as charged. That was my name. I got it for weird things though. Like I don't like it when there's dust on the floor. I don't like it when I see like a wedge that was left there or like a bloody matrix. Like I see that, I'm gonna go dragging on your ass. But
Which
if you
sounds
would've
like
asked-
a great leadership
No.
skill. I think that's what they teach in leadership school. Like when you go to Leadership 101, they're like, if you see shit you don't like, rip into the person that did it so they learn to be better.
I think it sets a
I'm
standard
calling
for
bullshit on
expectations.
your...
It
I, on
makes
the other
them
hand,
not-
have amazing leadership skills.
You do, and no one's gonna ever accuse me of being a
And
better
I
leader than you. But
did not
listen.
play any more team sports than JV high school basketball.
all
And
you
when you
needed.
talk about JV high school basketball, it was JV high school basketball in our synagogue. And when you talk about JV high school basketball in our synagogue, it was really only 7 boys. And 5 of us were bar mitzvahs, so that's the only people who could play. That was the
Okay.
extent of my team sports. But don't tell my children that because I want them to play
you
team
built
sports.
it up to be bigger.
Um,
Okay, I see.
Stress of staff. I think stress of staff is real.
It's massive.
I think it's massive. I think it's one
Anyone
of
you
your
talk
biggest.
to right now.
I think stress of staff makes you unhappy.
Stress of staff showing up to work each day so that we can serve our patients and make sure that we are doing a good dentistry, providing a good service so that we're not going to get bad
Yeah,
reviews
because-
and the.
If the receptionist doesn't show,
Yeah.
who's gonna check the people in?
Well, usually there is another person, but now you're putting extra stress onto that person. And again, just different personality types, different generational kind of like, I don't know, just demeanors and like how people react to things. People can't deal with a lot anymore. There's this whole entire world has become stressful, not just the job, but like how much groceries cost. I was just talking to my best friend about this. She says easily her grocery bill has doubled
Yeah.
in one fiscal year.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Everyone's facing harsh economic times. There's just like the North American, rat race, not just dental rat race, but like, I don't know what we've set ourselves up as like the standard of how we live our lives. It's impossible. People are miserable. So yeah, you have fewer people having to do a job. That brings an inordinate amount of stress onto people. They don't like it.
I like it. So you said something interesting. Stress of money. So let's talk about, so we already said stress of patients, check.
Yes, done.
Stress of staff,
Yes.
check.
Yes.
What about stress of overhead? What is the
Oh.
stress of the overhead of the office? Because overheads in offices are exploding.
Post-COVID, do you remember like some
Oh
of the?
my God.
I make a point of not knowing what things cost, but I
That sounds like a healthy way to run the business.
absolutely irresponsible, wholly irresponsible, but brings me no joy. But you hear people talking about it. Like,
What do you
it's
think the
like-
stress? What do you think the average overhead in a dental office is?
This is making my armpits sweat. This is
Because
like
we're talking about
I
business?
feel like we're going down KPI
Okay,
territory.
I think it's mid 70s. So
yeah,
a
but
dental office.
isn't
I think
70% if it's at that? Isn't that
I think
acceptable?
what they say is most offices are running about a 70 to 75% overhead, and then so that means Monday to Wednesday
Yeah.
you're just working
Just to
for the
pay.
sake of working, just
I
to pay the
understand.
bills.
Yes.
Thursday
Yeah,
is for the government. That's all taxes.
Yep.
Whatever you make Friday, that's what you take home.
that's what you take home. Yeah,
That's very stressful.
it's yeah.
I mean, overhead is getting crazy because every month there's a new service, there's a new product, there's a new add-on, and you feel less than. I just heard about this new service
What's that?
where patients can call the office after hour
Yes.
and a robot picks up
Uh-huh.
and can actually talk to you and make appointments.
I have heard of that as well. What is that called?
They're not a sponsor, so maybe
Oh,
maybe
we're
if you're
talking-
out there, sponsor for who does AI robot talking to you, Pure Logic. But maybe you could sponsor us because that would be amazing. But okay, so like one day you were like, cool, I thought it was okay that we all go home at 5 and turn on the voice recorder. Turns out that's not good enough anymore. Your office has to have an AI robot that's like, hello, would you like to make an appointment? What day will work for you? And then like if you don't have it, well, that's another $600 a month on you.
Yeah.
Cool. You don't have that? Great. Well, you're less than.
Oh,
Oh, do
absolutely.
you text
where does it even end?
Are you texting your patients automatically for their appointments? Well, that's another $800 a month on top of that.
Yeah, or asking for Google reviews or whatever. There is no actual playbook for dentistry, which I think makes all of this terrifying. Where do you stop?
Overhead is coming and it's eating up. I mean, if you don't have it, if you don't have a software that reads your x-rays, just want you to know you're a piece of shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's crazy. What about, you know what broke me?
What broke you?
My New York practice.
Yeah.
The warranty
Uh-huh.
on the sensor for the digital x-ray. Just
Which
the warranty.
aspect?
The
Yeah.
digital x-ray sensor.
Yes.
The digital x-ray sensor is a little,
Well, nothing lasts forever, David.
yeah, that little black sensor that you put in the
Oh,
mouth
I
with a
know.
cord, $10,000
Yeah.
per sensor.
I understand.
Just the warranty on it a month
Oh.
was like a $250. I was paying like $250 for 2 sensors a month just to have the sensors on it. And I was like, that's $250 is lunch for the staff.
Highway
It is
robbery.
a Starbucks every day for me on my way to work.
But they all know we cannot exist without those. They have us by our balls.
Yeah, well, one day
Yeah.
I was like, we're done with this. I've
And-
had this sensor for
Okay.
5 years.
Yes.
There has never been a problem. I will take that $250 back and do something else in this practice with it
Don't
/
tell
take
me.
it
Don't
home.
tell me you did it.
I did it on
No,
a
you didn't.
Wednesday.
No, you didn't do it.
Wednesday.
You tempted
Hello.
the dental gods. Oh, the dental.
Dexis, no longer interested in your warranty. Thank you. Last payment.
Was that, you said it was Wednesday? What
Yeah.
time? What time?
Guess what happened on Monday?
Oh, it went
Monday.
that long? I thought it would be like Wednesday, 2 minutes after you
No,
canceled.
then I would just
No.
deny it.
Okay. Okay.
Monday. Dr. Galler, something happened weird on the x-ray. It's all coming out with a weird line on it.
Oh, the weird line.
There's a weird line on every x-ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened? I have no idea.
That $250 a month looking pretty good right now.
I have no. Did somebody drop this?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I
I did hear
know.
a clunk. Cindy left early
Oh.
today.
I'm so sorry. They
You
know
ever-
the
you ever have-
dental
The
equipment
dent-
gods. They're always they're listening.
How many of our listeners have ever experienced this joy? I don't even know if we ever talked about this. Have you ever had a staff member throw a sensor in the garbage?
Ooh, no, I've not had that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've had
It's
the
a dream.
people.
Oh, it's a dream. We dumpster dive in at the end of the day to find the sensor in the garbage.
I've
Just got
not had
wrapped up
that.
with the, please write an email to the mediocredentist@gmail.com.
Your most tragic story. No,
your
the most
most
tragic.
tragic story related to sensors.
I've had it like, when you, is your x-ray head like stored kind of like in
Yeah,
between two
yeah.
offs? So we've
Well,
had
not
it,
in between, but like against the wall.
we've got like those, whatever, the doors
Yeah.
squeezed onto it.
Oh.
Yeah, frayed ends. We've had that.
Oh.
Like just the frank damage. And it's
All right, so we got, right, the overhead's just going crazy. Yeah. And if you don't get it, you're less than.
Yeah.
You're mediocre if you don't have the
Absolutely.
best software. If you don't have all these extras, if you're not texting your patients automatically, if you don't click to pay text for your bill, you're not
someone
as
running your
good.
social media, everything.
If
Yeah.
not social
Yeah.
media,
Yeah.
marketing, campaign, SEO, you
Never
are
ends.
less than.
Yeah.
So we got stress of overhead,
Mhm.
we got stress of staff,
Mhm.
and we got stress
of
of the
patients.
actual patients.
Yeah. What else we got?
Okay, we got the stress of the
Mhm.
patients, we got
Mhm.
the stress of the overhead, we have the stress of the staff, and there's this stress of dental education. This dental education billion-dollar empire where you're not good enough unless you went here. Hey, I just did a weekend here. Hey, just went to Costa Rica, learned how to do this. Just went to Mexico, placed 40 implants. Why can't you just be happy with the knowledge that you have? Do good dentistry. Who said
bread and butter
you have to?
dentistry.
Yeah, who said
Drill and
you
fill,
have?
baby.
Who said
Drill
you
and
have to
fill.
be an oral surgeon and do all on 4? Like what? What? Who said you're a plastic surgeon? Learn Botox. Who said?
Are you saying don't do more? Or is
I'm-
it of that's you?
I'm saying
That's who you are.
Billion
David
dollar dental industry based on making you feel like whatever you're doing in your office is not good enough.
That's bullshit. I'm just gonna take a second right here and go.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
David Galler, you have single-handedly turned more docs into absolute more case, more success, build up your practice, more. Nobody has done this more than you. 5,000 gala rights you've got. How many people have you absolutely lit up and inspired to do more learning, more cases, more everything?
I am part of the problem.
You are part of the problem.
I am part of this problem.
You literally lit my entire professional career on
I
fire.
believe dentists should do more clear aligners. So I'm talking about everything except for clear aligners.
Okay, all right, just so we're clear. I just wanted to clear it up for the audience just because they might be a little bit confused right now because they know who you are. That's okay. Doesn't apply to you.
I think clear aligners make practices happier. I think, okay, America, I am part of the problem. I teach Invisalign to general dentists, www.reengage.com as our only sponsor. As our only sponsor. Can I sponsor my own podcast?
You can absolutely sponsor your own podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
I am part of the problem.
You're part of the problem.
Wow.
So how are we gonna let's break that down. Let's dissect that. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling?
I don't like orthodontists, and I think we should take their business.
Okay. I like your honesty. I like that. Okay. And?
I recognize that I promote education related to dentists learning to do Invisalign.
Yes.
And I can understand how from the outside, that looks like people who don't do Invisalign are less than. And that's because general dentists who don't do Invisalign are less than.
Okay.
I think everyone should be doing Invisalign in their
Right,
practices. And www.reengage.com is where I can teach you how to do a clear aligner case from start to finish. Point, match, well served. Dr. Jerniski.
Thank you so much. Here to keep you in check.
What do we know about happiness in general?
How do we know about happiness? Well, we know that North America is kind of shit in the bed on the happiness train.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, by all accounts, we are the richest, fattest, most successful.
Sorry, fattest?
Yeah, that's a well. Have you noticed all the fast food chains we have? We do not value food
we don't
here.
Value health.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
If you want to be skinny, you got to be like Sean, our producer. You only eat once a day.
I
Skinny.
just didn't know how fat fit into the rest of the words you were throwing out.
Everybody says
Okay.
Richest, fattest country. We are fat. We are a fat country.
Yeah, it is what we say behind your backs. It's just weird hearing you like just.
We are the most
throw it out there.
medicated,
Yes.
fattest, richest. Not medicated if you're on Ozempic, because then you're not fattest.
Then you're not fattest.
But then you're medicated.
Okay.
Medicated, fattest, richest country in the history of the world.
As per you guys, anyway.
Oh, that's cute. Are you separating out Canada from America?
Well, not for long. If Trump has anything to say about it. 51st.
Well,
51st.
That would actually make our lives a lot easier. I just want to be clear. Unless we have to pay more taxes.
You know what? You know what it would now, after I've done the research, it wouldn't be a bad thing if Trump got us, because we would help bring up your average, because America didn't even make the top 20.
Top 20?
In terms of happiest countries in the world, as per the Gallup World Happiness Report.
Who are the happiest countries in the world?
Happiest one, and it's like pretty consistent, Finland.
Finland,
killing it.
Wow.
Scandinavian countries, killing it.
What are the top three?
Top three, we've got Finland, Denmark, Iceland.
Iceland?
Who's put Iceland? You know, I've heard this place is amazing. Like, I've never been. I think I landed once in Reykjavik.
Who made this study? The Ministry of Tourism in Iceland? Like, that sounds crazy.
No.
Iceland is freezing.
I understand it's freezing. Even Israel. I mean, you think of it right now. They're, missiles dropping here, there, everywhere. They're making top 10, no problem.
They make top 10 because that's where God is.
Okay, well then, you've heard it here, folks.
Of course, God is like, are we going to be in the top 10? We want to be in the top 10. You don't think God can move around those numbers? Yeah, he can move around those numbers on those charts and be like, yeah. You think people want to go Israel 20th? No. God is there, so it's top 10, probably top 3. In fact, I'm going to vote top 1.
Okay, well, it is one of the top 3 in under 30.
Do you think the Finland dentists are happy?
The Finland dentists?
Yeah.
I think that all of Finland is killing it right now, and they're laughing their asses off at you fat Americans.
We need to find like a Finland dentist.
Okay, and we'll get them on here.
Get them on the show. Hey, if you're watching this from Finland,
Okay.
it's a fucking miracle.
Yeah,
Like, I don't even think people
absolutely.
in New York are
If we
watching
get 'em,
this.
I know.
My family's not watching this for sure.
Hi, Mom. Yeah.
If there's a Finland
there.
dentist, if anybody knows a Finnish, is that even say Finnish?
Sounded good to me.
Swedish? If you're a Finnish or Swedish
Yes,
Invisalign provider, are you
Sweden's top
happy?
5. Yeah,
Because we unhappy here in America.
we are. Canada, slightly above you guys. You guys made 23. We were 15. Canada.
Canada.
So,
huh.
yeah, Trump gets us. We're going to automatically bring you back into the top 20.
That's good. I'll take that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, so we're in an unhappy country, but I really think even beyond that, I think dentists are some of the unhappiest people inside. One of my best friends is a gastroenterologist. He was at our
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah.
He seems pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, some patients,
nice guy.
some months
Yeah.
he has more patients than not.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't really matter. He's
yeah, he doesn't.
getting a pretty steady paycheck.
He doesn't sweat it. I've never seen him
His
doing
overhead, is he worrying about any of that? Ever hear him complain about it?
No, he just like people have colonoscopies, and
Yeah.
every now and then someone has a bleeding ulcer, and I treat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen him do a gastroenterology dance in the waiting room
Okay, well, thank God for
on
that.
Instagram.
They haven't made the cut yet. We'll just saving that for the dentists.
Just happier people.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, I would have thought the same. Dentists, super unhappy.
Super unhappy.
Super
definitely
unhappy.
definitely
And not just
unhappy of the professional people. I've never
Yeah.
met an unhappy lawyer.
and dissatisfaction with job.
Just like day to day, I don't want to go to work today. Snow day, close the office.
Yeah. When I did dig into the research though, interestingly enough, and I know that, job satisfaction and happiness aren't the exact same thing, but any research that you do come across, whether it's here in North America, whether it's across the world, across the board, they concluded that we have moderate to high job satisfaction.
Bullshit.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
I know, but this is what they're like.
Bullshit.
This is
Who
PubMed,
did they ask?
International Dental Journal,
Who
dentist
did they
job
ask?
satisfaction, a systematic review and meta-analysis. They're going through all of these things.
Maybe they're asking like the IRS because we pay so much
It's
taxes.
not the case.
Maybe
But
they're asking
interesting.
all the companies that sell warranties for the shit
Is it
equipment
maybe
that
that
we
we
have.
just bitch,
Bullshit.
but maybe
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
we just bitch loudly? But maybe everybody is. Maybe everybody's unhappy, and we just happen to only ever be around dentists.
Or maybe
Yeah.
they're so unhappy
Yes.
that they push it so far down
Okay.
that if they get a poll in the first of all, I've never gotten a poll in the mail
No one's
asking if
ever
I'm
asked
happy.
me. No one's
So I
ever
don't even
asked
know where
me.
this comes from. But if somebody showed up at my door and
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, I'm taping a poll of happiness.
Yes.
You're a dentist. How happy are you? I heard
Yeah.
you're not happy." I'd be like, "I'm happy. I'm super happy.
Okay.
Look at this face. This face is happy."
Listen.
Because I'd be
here's
thinking my
the-
patients are going to see it.
Let's
Maybe
take
everyone's
it-
just lying.
Let's look at it from a different perspective. What are the type of people that are drawn to this profession? Because that will have an
People
impact.
that are good at science, that have an uncle that told them not to go into
Okay.
medicine.
Okay, that being part of it, but really, typically what? We're typically type A, typically like high performance, like put a lot of unnecessary stress onto ourselves to overachieve and overperform. That's what's coming into the industry. And those people are going to have difficulty being satisfied with what they do in their lives, whether it's their job, whether it's with parenting. Maybe we're just kind of, we're set up, we're fraught with error and the ability to even be happy with what we're doing.
I call bullshit.
Why?
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
You don't think Navy SEALs are high achieving type A people to survive
I think
that
they
and
got
to go through
badass.
that?
They are.
You
Oh,
think they're
absolutely.
unhappy? No, I watched the show Navy SEALs. They seem very happy on CBS, 8:00, 9 on Monday
my
nights.
God.
Please sponsor us if you can.
I'm just telling you what's out there, and that's what they're saying. So, yeah, I think that dentists maybe have high expectations of self. I think maybe in theory to
I
us,
think
they
there are
might
a
be
lot of
saying
high
that.
achieving people there.
Maybe they just want to think that they have a high job satisfaction. I don't know. Maybe they are bullshit reporting. I have no idea, but that is not what's out there. Several studies. So call bullshit. That's not what the research suggests, but certainly our conversations and anecdotally, dentists are some miserable motherfuckers.
And this is the podcast for you miserable motherfuckers
Okay.
from my wife.
Let's be real.
All right, we call this segment Let's be real. I'll start it up. Are you ready?
Okay.
Let's be real. Most dentists are unhappy.
Let's be real. People suck. Buy a dog.
Let's be real. People are rude everywhere, and we're starting to see it in our offices, and it stresses me out.
Let's be real. We should all be running as far and fast away from North America, and let's hit up any Scandinavian country.
Let's be real. One night last year, there was a male who was licking my wife's fingers in the chair. And you're just telling me about this now.
Good God. Oh, I can't top that. Let's be real. You are so much better than this than I am. I'm the one that made this up, and it's making me feel very mediocre.
Let's be real. Everyone is stressed all the time, and they're tuning into this podcast for answers. And let's be real, we have no answers.
Let's be real.
All right, it's everyone's favorite part of the show. It's time for the dental anxiety test.
Dental anxiety test.
And today's guest, Dr. Osman Anwar from Calgary, Alberta. How are you, Osman? Welcome to the Mediocre Set.
Thank you very much for having me, David. Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, you're here because every dentist, no matter how successful, and you are supremely successful with 2 beautiful offices in Calgary, we believe every dentist feels mediocre.
I agree. I do feel mediocre. Some days better, some days worse.
All right. Well, are you ready to take our test?
I would love to take your test.
Let's measure your anxiety.
Perfect. Let's go.
Worst day in dental school. Walk us through it.
Oh my God, worst day in dental school. Probably was in the pre-lab when we had to do preps on mannequins. And the instructor at the time said that we don't think you have the dexterity to do this. And you need to spend a little bit more time on your preps. And they were maybe going to hold me back a year. But
This is triggering for me because this happened to so many people in our dental school class. And it was arbitrary. I bet your preps were fine.
yeah.
They just target people. It's like they have a quota. It's like policemen getting like tickets.
Like, let's take our viewers and listeners through the pathology of this.
Yeah.
Because the dental instructor
Yes.
in the pre-clinic lab
Yes.
is the lowest dentist on the totem pole. At least the people in the clinic helping you with patients are a drop above.
Yeah.
But the instructors and the dentists that are so bad,
Couldn't cut
we
it in
can't
private
even
practice.
we
Yeah.
can't even let them work upstairs with live
Yes.
patients. We'll only trust them
Plastic
with
teeth.
plastic teeth
Yeah.
or the lowest
And they're
of
judging
skilled
anybody, yeah.
people around. And for that person to say you don't have the dexterity, that would break a dental person's soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And look at you now. What do you want to say to that instructor? What's their name? Don't tell their name. We're going to get sued.
Won't say their name. Won't say their name.
What do you want to say to them if they happen to be listening?
If they happen to be listening, I said I made it. I made it 24 years, and I'm.
Not just made it, you're supremely successful. You're one of the top
Way
doctors.
more successful than they could have ever dreamed of.
Would you even have time to go to a pre-clinic lab and look at kids' preps? Maybe if you took $1 trillion pay cut. All right,
No.
excellent. You happen to come in on Monday after your Sunday scaries, and on looking through the schedule, just see what's coming up this week. Nobody's resigned. And Tuesday afternoon, you see the name, Voldemort.
Voldemort is showing up. Oh my
Tuesday,
goodness.
4 o'clock, and it just says consult.
I think I'm getting a fever. I think I feel something coming on. Was there a medical appointment? I forgot to tell staff about.
Got your hair
Oh,
cut.
you trying to get it? You're gonna go run. He's
going.
gonna
You're
run.
running.
You running.
Leaving
You
Baltimore for the
running.
rest of your staff.
Leave Baltimore
I like
for the
that.
associate,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the rest of the day you're just upset, right?
You're just worried. Sometimes it's not as bad though, but sometimes you just worry about that one patient. You don't know what they're going to be like that day.
Somebody calls on Saturday. It patches through the emergency line to you, and they say, that filling you did on Wednesday, I'm real sensitive on it. And you're like, cool, come in Monday morning. And they say thank you and they hang up the phone. Are you still thinking about it the rest of Saturday?
I am logging in to the office computer system, reading my chart notes, reading through what was there before, looking at the previous x-rays, trying to figure out, I don't recall this one being a potential problem.
And your wife's like, we're late for dinner. And you're like, shut the fuck up. We ain't going anywhere, bitch.
No one's having fun tonight.
We need to, this is
everything
the
is on
priority.
hold.
Everything is on hold. I agree completely.
And what if you can't log in? What if it's just like, no connection, no connection?
Forget it. We're going to go to the clinic and then we're going to go to dinner.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing truth here. Truth.
This is the real dental experience.
This is, you have almost 100% on the DATS right now. You have 5 questions left and you are running the highest score that everyone else, low scores failed. You are perfect. Okay.
That in itself, David, has now made me even more nervous. That I am the most nervous of the nervous. Like, where do I belong in all of this?
Last question.
Yes, sir.
How often do you feel mediocre? Once a day, once a week, once a month, or once a year?
Definitely once a day I feel mediocre.
Well, then you are on the right podcast, my friend.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me, David.
Great.
Andrea, I love you. Thank you very much.
Love you too,
Thank you.
buddy.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Dental anxiety test.
Let's do a quick episode recap. Episode number 2. Is anyone even happy? Answer:
No.
no.
Not at all.
No, we got into this profession to be happy, and I'm looking around the room and nobody's happy. And the people who tell me they have tremendous job satisfaction and happiest, them is the scariest motherfuckers. Those are the ones I worry about the most. People on Instagram with how amazing their office is, all smiles. You the worst. You have the biggest, you're in denial. But I think there is, which not just a crazy bunch of people, there's legit stuff going on. Stress of patients, everybody waiting for that review, and those reviews do impact your business. Stress of staff, we can't relate to them. None of us got into this position because we're good leaders. How am I supposed to run a team of 12? I don't even know anything. Stress of overhead, more services, more toys, more features, more advertising. Like, how much more can I take on? And I'm not even taking home any money. And I'm stressed about that. And then more stress of dental education. Like, whatever you knew wasn't good enough. Go to a weekend here, go to this week. Everyone's going down to Dominican Republic and placing implants. Why aren't you? Why aren't you doing Botox? The only exception is Invisalign. www.reengage.com. You should learn how to do that.
The mediocre dentist, the mediocre dentist. 'Cause sometimes you just feel mediocre. The mediocre dentist, the mediocre dentist. I am mediocre, you are mediocre, and that's not that bad.